What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, I'm going to make the case that the metals are going to top in Q1 while Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and others are going to bottom. So the obvious question of this day is, if that's really true, exactly when and where should you buy? All that and more coming in up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is noon just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. I hope you're having a fantastic motherfucking Tuesday. Before I go any further, I want to say thank you very much. Yesterday's video was the most thumbs down ever. So while I don't think it was because of this, although it could be, we had some silver bugs based on some of the comments that YouTube hid. Hating on me, something fierce. Ask me if I fucking care. As a matter of fact, I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm here in the hopes that I can impress or at least save one or two of you from making a lifelong mistake. But before I go any further, Juan, you're not getting our emails. You've got AOL, for God's sake, and it's going to spam. And there's no way for me to get a hold of you because you're not checking your inbox on the website. So check your spam folder. Get onto Discord, click the link that we sent you on sign up. You'll get in and start making money. And speaking of making money, we rang the register again yesterday. I believe that's 83 wins against 2 losses. And as we just saw in the last 15 minutes, consumer confidence is at a 14-year low. Do you know how many people signed up yesterday? None. You know how many people signed up the day before? None. In fact, in the last 2 months, how many people have joined the number one Discord on the planet that's 83-2 for almost 700% return since last August? 5. This time a year ago, we'd get 40 or 50 people every single month. So obviously, most of you are down in the dumps. You're watching fake news. You're hanging out with your doom and gloom buddies, and you're looking at me going, what a ridiculous motherfucker that is. Got all that fake jewelry on, trying to act like he's big pimping. When in fact, I'm sending 6 fucking figures to the IRS every quarter, and I can barely pay my tax bill. Why is that? Because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I'm going to save one or two of you silver bugs from making a huge fucking mistake. And if you're interested like myself as to when and where you get into Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and I'm not talking about the altcoins, many of which are never coming back, not at least to the levels they were at, stick around, because this party's just getting started. Yesterday, you had a number of firsts. First of all, you added $1 trillion of market cap to the silver market. SLV added $1 trillion of market cap, traded 6 times normal volume, 360 plus million shares, last trade 98 on the nose. And if you know anything about technical analysis, and most of you hacks or hardcore maniacs do not, you had a graveyard doji, a topping tail. When you got to spot 117 and change, 106.70 in the paper market, which is more accurate in terms of what you're going to get paid if you try to go sell at your local dealer or coin shop, that is indicative. A 65% chance the top, at least for the near term, is in. And if it's not a 35% chance, the next wave higher, whether you barely eke out a new high and go to 1.25 to a half or somewhere along those lines, if you're not fucking selling at that point, there's nothing I can do to help you. You've got massive institutional selling. You've got rumors of JP Morgan and others that are caught 8-9 billion short. You don't think they're going to fucking do something about that? You don't think there's a hit piece coming? You don't think they're on the phone right now calling Trump saying, hey, don't we need some sort of price control? Have you been listening to Elon Musk in the last few weeks? At 60 an ounce on silver, he was saying in so many words, we can't afford this. He wants 1 billion robots. Silver conducts electricity better than anything on the planet. He can't afford to build out the AI, the robotics, the data centers. And you as a consumer, based on today's report in particular, a 14-year low, a 12-year low in consumer confidence, you're not going to be able to afford anything that's got silver in it, AKA the future. I'm fucking telling you right now, if it wasn't yesterday, it's the next wave higher. You've got multiple gaps all the way down to 75 and even lower. So in a normal trading situation based on the chart, the volume, the doji I saw, it's called a graveyard doji, meaning that's it, it's over. In 2011, when silver topped at 49 and then was death by 1,000 cuts all the way to 11 until it bottomed in 2020, it was 123% to be exact, above its 200-period moving average on the monthly chart. Yesterday, at 106.70 on the SLV, almost 400% above. Never happened. So you've got record amounts of market cap added in a 24-hour period. $1 trillion in one day. 6 times normal volume. That hasn't happened, in my opinion, from what I've seen ever. You're 400% away from what they call home base, the long-term moving averages. There's no fucking way, I don't care if it's tulips in the 1600s, dot-com stocks in the 90s, or metals or silver in particular now. The moving averages have gravity. It's like, come on back to home base. You can't stay elevated in nosebleed fucking territory forever. So ask yourself the following question. If we do a normal pullback and fill those gaps down to 75 or 80, are you okay with that? If you can look at me and more importantly yourself in the mirror and say, I'm fine with that, then you don't sell any silver. But if you're going to sit there like most of you and play woulda, coulda, shoulda, oh my God, why the fuck didn't I get out of some? That asshole Jason was telling me to sell at 106.70 in the paper, 117 in the spot. And by the way, if you haven't seen the fucking videos and I'm not somehow convincing you, search on YouTube how to sell my silver now at dealers. You'll see videos of not only them talking about 10, 20, 30% discounts from where the spot market is, but the largest dealer in Texas, as of yesterday, said, we ain't taking any more silver. Why is that? They know it's coming down. They know there's an imbalance that needs to be corrected. I don't give a fuck what you're selling, weed, eggs, or silver. When the buyer of your product says, no mas, we ain't taking any more, do you realize what kind of red fucking flag that is? So add it all up. Most overbought in history in terms of its moving averages. Most market cap ever in a 24-hour period. 6 times normal volume. Investment banks that might be underwater to the tune of 5, 6, 7 billion. You might think, oh, that's squeeze territory. That's more fuel for the fire. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you realize what kept silver smothered for years? And I know the markets. I have a friend of mine that's a commodities broker for 40 years. I know as much about the fucking market as you do. I just choose not to own it. All of this adds up to trouble. Fucking trouble. We can't afford silver at $200-300 an ounce. If we ever get there, then yeah, there is bread lines. So if you're a hardcore believer, you've got freeze-dried food stacked to the ceiling in your fucking garage, then don't sell a single ounce. But if you're like most people, including my friend, let's call him Anthony. I won't give his last name. He's probably watching me right now. We haven't spoken for years. True story before I talk about Bitcoin. And thank you for sticking with me. He used to come to my house in Delray Beach. I built a house in next to Addison Reserve, Bristol Point. I was big pimping as a young man. Total debauchery. He would come to my house and cold call. He was a commodities broker. When I went bust and bankrupt and sold my fucking 28-foot power play that he helped me get, 77 in the door, 28 out the door. The best day of being a boat owner is not only the day you buy it, but the day you get fucking rid of it. A cash cow, it's soaked 50 grand, but that's a whole nother story. We lost contact. But I used to reach out to him on a regular fucking basis on Facebook and torture him. That silver shit pile you got. Why the fuck didn't you sell at 49? He's been buying it forever. And he promised me when it was stuck at 11, all that naked selling, all that spoofing that Citadel, JP Morgan, they were all guilty of. And you don't think it's ever going to happen again? He say to me over and over and over again, I promise you, if it ever goes back to 50, I'm going to get out of every ounce, every bar, every fucking client. We're all on the same page. And guess what happened? He gets to 50. He ain't selling. 75, 80, 85, 90, 100. I get a text the other day. He sends me a laughing at me. Still long. Still has every fucking bar, every ounce of paper. Now what are you doing, pal? You still convinced that it's going to what, 300? Didn't you promise yourself when it was 10 or 15 that if it ever went back before it got cut in half, actually, and then some down 90% through 10 years of death by 1,000 cuts that you'd get out? You want to know why 90% of traders, I don't care if it's currency, crypto, silver, fucking drugs, you name it. They don't make money because they get emotional, they panic at the lows, they get FOMO'd up and greedy as hell at the highs. Why did you buy silver in the first place? Was it to make money? Okay, great. Was it because the dollar's going to zero and now you can say there is a structural imbalance, there is no silver mine, it's all skimmed through copper and gold mining? Now you got another catalyst. But when you go up 500% from where you were just a couple years ago, you're coming back down to earth. So Anthony, I hope you got out of some. Because when you're in a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where the dealers, the shops, the distributors, etc., ain't taking any of it unless you give them a 10, 20, 30% discount. And some are saying, I'm not taking any. If this thing was fucking going to 200 tomorrow, they would take everything you got. And some might even give you a fucking premium, like I hear they're doing, so to speak, over in China. That ain't going to last for very long. In closing, what about Bitcoin and Ethereum? I get a sense that this video might be a bit of a train wreck, a bit of a roller coaster. Who fucking cares? 5 people have given this guy who's 83-2 a shot. You guys are literally flushing fucking money down the toilet. But that is what it is. For those of you that are willing to listen, whether we do business or not, as I've stated numerous times in the Discord, and I do dozens of short videos every month, we're 80% of the way down the turn on the monthly stochastic. The last 4 bear markets for crypto, and this is where you add the entire space, 2014, 2018, 2022, 2026, the infamous 4-year cycle, lasted 14 months. At the end of January is the 14th month for when crypto, and I'm talking about all of it, topped 14 months ago. So in my opinion, metals, silver, gold, at least for now, before you get a significant correction, are in the process of topping. And at some point in the next 30 to 60 days, the generational buying opportunity for Bitcoin is 72,000, which was the pivot on the line chart coming out of the fake trade war of April of last year, and the last level of support if it breaks at 82. So last trade 87 and change on Bitcoin. If it's me, for whatever it's fucking worth, I'm not buying anything until you crack 82 over the next month or two. And I get more aggressive the lower you go towards 72,000. Some technicians I really respect have targets in the low to mid 60s. Okay, maybe. But in case you haven't heard the news, $40 billion a month from the Fed from now until April. There is a meeting tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And the lackey they're going to bring in May is already on record, all of them that are favored anyway. They want to take rates down another 100 basis points and probably jack up quiet QE to 50 or 60 billion. In my opinion, when this is a midterm election year and you've got the Qs cranking because of strong earnings from tech, there's no fucking way that Bitcoin is going much, if any, lower than 72 or thereabouts. So as soon as it breaks 82, you start scaling in. With respect to Ethereum, that window is between 2350 and 2650. And until next time, always remember that I love you. I really do. Thanks for watching.